to the All Gains podcast, and I am Andrew, your host for the day. And today, our second success story is none other than Mike.
Me.
Yeah, Mike Betancourt who is the founder of All Gains Apparel. And,
Oh yeah.
and we started this YouTube channel together. So we're going to talk about Mike's success and basically the fall and then the rise of the Mike.
The free fall. Let's just go with the free fall. I kind of like that. It's really funny.
Let's just start in the beginning, like when you were like a kid, right?
So it all started when I was born.
When you were born, that's right. That's right. So like you used to be like when you were very young, you were actually into karate, right?
Yeah.
So it didn't start out bad. You had a
no.
good start.
Yeah, no, everything. See, it's so funny because like when I was a kid, like I was put into a whole bunch of different sports, right? But like, and so with being put into sports, like your body goes into it molds into that athleticism because you're in so many different sports, you're doing so many different things. Your body will mold that way, and it also helps with genetics. And so like when I was a kid, I was doing baseball, I was doing basketball, I was doing soccer. Then I got into martial arts, and then eventually all the sports started weeding away when I was getting older. But for a long time, I was doing both baseball and martial arts like simultaneously. And martial arts is like a 365 type deal. So like you're always doing like conditioning. You're always doing all that stuff, and you're always being fit or doing some sort of workout every day, pretty much because you're at martial arts. But like even then, even with that, like I technically wasn't really the healthiest guy. I definitely was not like the most fit. Sometimes I would get skinny, but I would have situations and periods of time where I was chunky as hell. I was a chunky boy, but then I would get really thin, and then it would come back, and I would just be like an accordion.
Yeah, but it never got too out of hand, right?
It never really. Some people, my parents will say there was a time where it seemed like it was going to get out of hand, and they kept yelling at me about it, and I was just like, I don't care, because when you're like 13, 14 years old, you just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But hindsight 2020 probably should have done something about it, but but back then, like I knew that I was young enough to where my metabolism would just correct itself. Because you're young enough where that can happen.
Well, you're more insulin sensitive than like a guy like me.
Well, yeah.
Your body type is very different.
Yeah, and when I became insulin resistant, I was like, fuck. But actually now I just found out that I am now insulin sensitive again. So
yeah, keep it like that.
Yeah, so that's good. That's good. Spoiler for later. But yeah, no. Doing sports when you're a kid I feel like is really good, really beneficial, because it really keeps you in a like a lifestyle of exercise and all that stuff, and it's easier for you to get back to, especially when like you go away from it for so long and then you come back. I feel like it's just like, I remember doing this all the time. This was great, So like when we go for our runs, I'm used to it because I'm used to running around a baseball field like a whole bunch of times, for practice and stuff. Or doing suicides for basketball because that's fun, and not really for anybody else, but doing that kind of thing is it's nice to come back to. Because it reminds you of the things that you've done already.
Yeah, it's very important for like when you're growing up to be doing different kind of things and also becoming like developing your social habits. So
yeah,
like forming teams with other people and getting into those sports as a kid really kind of prepares you to be an adult and socialize easier, and like you're already used to like being a star, so to speak. So you're
sometimes. for me it never really was that way. I only really became like good friends with like some of like the kids I did sports with, and I'm not gonna put martial arts into that category. I was good friends with a lot of people from there, but like for some reason in the sports, like actual sports like baseball, basketball, I wasn't really friends with too many people. I felt like I was for some time I felt like I was ridiculed for even being there, and that some of the kids didn't even want me to be there, and I was just like, whatever, because I'm here, so I just have to be here.
Yeah, I'm here, might as well.
I was only friends with only a small few, so shout outs to you if you know who you are. But yeah, no, and then martial arts, I was really cool with a lot of people because we started from so young, and we were always together in the same thing
Yeah.
for years, like, and it just didn't stop. Like baseball, basketball, those things are seasonal. Those things are only for a certain time, and so people will change in between. You know what I mean? But like you when you do martial arts and you do it, 365, you and the people that you're with change together.
Yeah.
And usually you'll do it simultaneously. You'll do it with each other, and it's a lot easier, and you grow together pretty much, and it's a lot better, I feel, than actual seasonal sports.
Exactly, but you had like a really good start, like doing all these sports and like doing. You were very like socially like into the sports and all that stuff. So how did you end up gaining weight and becoming like how we would say fat?
By not doing them anymore. Wow, it's a surprise, right? Well, okay, so let's backtrack really quick. I was fat while playing sports, but I feel like that was mostly because that I ate a lot of shit.
Yeah,
but we were
it's
kids.
Always a nutrition.
The thing is that we were kids. We don't know any better, clearly, and it's not like our parents are gonna really know any better. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they're not gonna force it upon you. Some people will.
I will.
My parents did not fully do that to me. I was lucky enough to be eating steak, so like I like that's one of the things I actually enjoyed when I was a kid. But like I wasn't like I would eat. Sometimes there would be times during out of the season I would be eating like pancakes and then McDonald's like every day, like McDonald's pancakes, and then McDonald's for lunch and then McDonald's for dinner.
I miss those days.
There were times where I did that, and that was thinking about it now, it just makes my stomach hurt. Oh my god, that actually hurts.
Your body gets basically used to the poison after a while.
Oh yeah. No, I was full of poison. Honestly, my body was full of poison at some points, and that's probably when I was the biggest. Was like during those off times, and then getting back into the sports. It would, my body would be like, oh, time to get smaller, time to get fit again, and so I would just go like an accordion, get fat. But then once I started getting rid of things like soccer, getting rid of things like basketball, and then getting rid of things like baseball, then that's when you know and notice that you're it's not like an accordion anymore. It's more like you inflate and then you deflate, but over a longer period of time. Because doing martial arts, it's all the time, but baseball and all these other things are seasonal, and so like you'll be doing it very very fast paced. But now that you got rid of them, now it's just either you're inflating or you're deflating. And so, but then once I got rid of martial arts, once I stopped doing martial arts and towards the end of high school, like it was either I'm inflated or I'm deflated.
You got very comfortable, right?
Yeah,
very
and there was no way around that. And then, well, there's also other factors of being comfortable, like either having like a significant other or whatever, having other problems. It all depends, or dealing with school, dealing with work. All these things will also factor into your comfortability and the way that you eat.
What do you think made you like the most comfortable, like in the worst way? Like, what made you like get so comfortable to the fact that you were gaining weight at a slow rate, but it ended up like building a lot of fat over time? Like, what was the most comfortable factors that you think played a part?
Okay, so when we were working at said fast food restaurant together. And I was dating this one person. There was a time where like I would leave when this fast food restaurant to go on break. I would go to her house, who lived right by there, and I would just lay on the couch and eat food for like 30 to 40 minutes because I just stayed there because I didn't care about the job. And then I would just go back, and that's literally that is the epitome of comfortability.
Yeah.
Where you just leave to go to this place for like 40 minutes, and eat like a shit ton of food, and then come back, and then go back to work, and you do that like five times a week, for and every week you be doing the same thing over and over again. That's literally comfortability, and I literally remember it now. I know I was getting fat from that. It was not good.
Yeah, I see that a lot. Like people get into like these relationships and they get extremely comfortable with that, and they get into this really bad routine, and they end up building a lot of fat over time. So you think like the relationship definitely like played a part, and like like it's so
definitely
so comfortable to the fact that you didn't really care about your weight anymore. Like it comes to a point where where the thought of like trying to lose weight and like the motivation kind of disappears over time in certain relationships, and you get lazy and you get comfortable, and then a few months later, a couple years later, you just see yourself in the mirror and you realize that you've changed and gained like 100 pounds, and you've lost strength in the gym, and you become like your stamina like decreased over time, and so
Yeah, because especially with that relationship, like I was super comfortable. I was unmotivated whatsoever. Working at that at the fast food joint, and being just out of high school, only like just getting by in college, you know, all that stuff was just like a slow, thing. I was just trying to get by, not really like fully motivated on the things I wanted to do, and like 5 times a week, laying on a couch, like eating food and waiting for the time to go by to go back to work. It's like not thinking about it now. That's super like depressing.
it's a very depressing circle. So like, what was the one trigger that really like, one day you woke up, you looked in the mirror, and you saw that you had a gut, and your insulin has been being spiked throughout the months and years, and like, what made you like really say, I've had enough, I need to change right now? Was there a moment like that?
I think I feel like the most important moment where I was like that was a couple weeks before you and I had that conversation about me trying to do keto. Or no, was it a couple weeks? I think it might have been a few days before. But I was like, and this is like 3 years later from what we were just talking about.
Yeah, because it built over time.
So
like
all this was over time, and then finally 3 years later, I'm like, fuck, I'm feeling like shit.
Every day,
something
right?
needs to change here. I don't like this. Like there's something wrong. I do not like this. I don't like this stomach. I don't like, everything that's going on with me. I'm having problems with my chest. I need something to change. And then you finally were like, "Hey, try this. It's nice." And yeah, so that's pretty much what triggered me, was just me looking in the mirror and just being like, this has got to stop.
Because I think there comes a point where you just get so fed up, and you realize that you wake up every day and you feel horrible, and you don't even know why. A lot of people don't even realize the reasons that they're feeling horrible. You wake up with headaches every day, and your stomach's hurting, and you feel like you're gonna throw up a lot. You get these like really random like chest pains.
Yeah.
Like it's like heartburn, and like your body is like failing on you. It's like you have that inner conscience feeling.
I don't think it really helped that it did not help when I was working at, the job, technically the job I'm still working at now. And, it was that one summer where I was just working like every single day, long hours, and I wasn't taking breaks. I wasn't, I was pretty much working myself to death on purpose, because to just push aside the depression I was feeling, and just like to just pretend like I didn't have that, and just only think about work, and to only like worry about work. And so by doing that also probably destroyed my body as well. That probably made the whole thing like a lot worse quicker than it really should have been. And so once there was that whole week I was covering for a manager, and I was working like a whole entire week straight. I was doing my job, their job, because they weren't there for the week. So like I was doing two people's jobs at once, working like 9 to 10 hours a day for 7 days. That was not as fun as it sounds. But like I did it because I didn't want to be home. I didn't want to be in my bed. I didn't want to deal with anybody else. I just wanted to just be away from things, and then just go home to go to sleep, to come back. Like that was really it. But then once, after that week, and I was really feeling all the chest pains and stuff and everything, and then I really took a moment, and I was just like, I need something to change right now, because this is not okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lot of people go through that all the time, and it's actually kind of sad, but only few have like that will to just change things.
Yeah.
Right. So when you first started changing your diet, was that easy or hard?
Well, okay, so
like when you finally were like, I don't care anymore, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna lose this weight. What was the drastic changes?
So pretty much, because when we had that conversation in my car about me doing keto, and I was like, I don't know, there's so many, I eat all these different things. It's hard for me, and you're just like, just try it. These are the things that you can eat on here, and are there anything on here that you like to eat? And so, we went through the list, and so there was eggs, which I do like to eat. Bacon, I do like to eat sometimes. There's steak, chicken. When you said all those things, I was like, oh well, it seems like I can do that because I like to eat those things. So that seems fine. And you were just like, yeah, so just get rid of everything else and just eat that. And then when you said I can eat a lot of butter, I said, did you just say butter?
Yeah, because we're trained to hate butter, right?
Yeah.
That it's very unhealthy, and
But I've always loved butter, and
Yeah.
everyone's always ridiculed me for it. And so
And
I was
then-
like, I can eat butter, and no one will yell at me for it. Well, everyone still yells at me for it,
but they don't understand why.
But they don't understand why. And now, granted, I was not eating probably the best butter at the time, but now I'm eating pretty good butter, and I've been eating ghee at my girlfriend's house, which is really good. I bought it for there, so it's good.
Yeah, for those who don't know, ghee is like the pure butter fat from the butter,
Yeah.
like, and eliminates like pretty much all the dairy aspects
Yeah,
of it,
it's like dairy-free butter.
basically.
Dairy-free butter is cool.
So you basically just like
But
took
yeah,
out all
yes,
the bad foods,
Yeah,
and
so
then
when you told me about all those foods, I was like, okay, so this is how I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to have to figure this out. So, like, I had been testing different ways of how I was going to do this because I used to eat, because when I used to work in the mornings, I used to eat before I go to work. And so I was trying to figure out how I was going to, eat before I go to work, like how I normally would. And so I was trying to figure out, how, like, try to put eggs in a bowl and scramble them up and then microwave it and some weird shit. I was trying to do some weird-ass things at first, and, it was all right. It wasn't, like, the best way to do it, but then once I figured out how to make omelets, then everything else got better. But, yeah, so, like, I was just like, fuck it. I'm going to just get rid of this shit. Like, I had... It was so funny because my dad had gotten a new air fryer. And he had bought, like, a bag of fries because he used to make fries for, like, everybody.
yeah,
And then if I was gonna make myself something, he was gonna make fries while I was making my breakfast for me to have fries with it. And so I told him that I'm not gonna be eating fries anymore. He was like, "Oh, you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I just bought this bag of fries." I was like, "I'm sorry."
Throw that
I'm
away.
so sorry.
What was the hardest food to give up? Had
I
to
just
hit you
blew
with
into the mic. I'm so sorry, everyone. I just killed everyone's freaking headphones. The hardest thing I think was probably the fries, specifically
Fries?
McDonald's fries, because damn,
Those things are way
they
too
were
addicting. There's a lot of stuff in there that needs to go.
So good, man, so good, and I would have done anything to have a fry, but like now I can, I love them. I know I do, but I don't need them.
Do your carb cravings still hit you from time to time, and like how bad does it hurt you?
They don't hit, it's like a 16th of a percent that it hits me. That I get a carb craving. 16th of a percent of my body. I'll get a carb craving and I'll just be like, nah, I'm good. And besides, like, when I eat, I'm so full that, like, I'm never really that hungry. And so usually when I have those cravings is when I get hungry. But, like, I'm rarely ever hungry until, like, I go outside and, make my steak or I'm making my omelet. So when I'm hungry and I would have those carb cravings, I'm making my food. So I'm like, food. So, like, I try to think ahead and try to make it so I eat enough to get me to the next day, to my next meal. So when I'm hungry but I'm already making my food, now I'm more focused on the food that I'm making instead of anything, that would poison me.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that makes sense. And so I say, fuck all that shit. Fuck the fucking, fries and the fucking mozzarella sticks and the pretzels and whatever the fuck I ate, all that shit. I just think about steak.
Same. Eggs, beef, and
Beef,
like
yeah.
bacon get me through the day, honestly.
Oh, man. And the keto pizza.
Do you get criticism a lot for like the stuff you eat now? Because you don't really even do any vegetables, really. Like people look at you and like shake their head.
the biggest gripe everyone has with me that I don't eat any vegetables.
Yeah, you do more of a carnivore lifestyle
yeah.
right now, like keto carnivore.
Yeah, and I've been doing that for technically since the beginning. Technically for like 3 years now, I've been doing technically a carnivore, but not really because I use avocado oil and stuff. But like I don't eat any vegetables. I take supplements, to provide me with the nutrients that vegetables normally give. But I did promise myself I would start to slowly implement some sort of vegetables into my diet.
Yeah, maybe like broccoli, cauliflower, maybe spinach,
Yeah,
asparagus.
broccoli is probably gonna be one of the last ones
Yeah.
for me, but because I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. I think I need to wait another couple of years for my taste buds to change.
Maybe
but
cauliflower might be good for you too.
that
has a lot of benefits.
I want to try. There's some recipes with cauliflower. I want to try. I want to try it out. Sarah, my girlfriend, she's been making these really cool like vegetable like things that she wants me to try, and so I'm gonna wait. I've been slowly, like tasting it, like just testing the waters, putting my foot in just to see how it is, see if that's where I want to go, and how I want to do it. But it's just a matter of just finding what you like and going for that.
What was your biggest like weight change? Like you went from
I was like I was the heaviest. I think the heaviest I was like over 200 pounds. I think I was like 205 or something, 208, and I was just like shit. I was like, fuck.
Yeah,
how did I
used
get
to
this
be like
big?
110.
Because I used to always be anywhere between 140 and 165.
Yeah.
I was anywhere between those two weights, and 140 was like when I was when I was super freaking thin, barely any muscle on me, and I was just there. And then 165 was where I had some muscle, but like I was I was still kind of like a blob in a sense. But now, and then when I got to 200, over 200, I was a huge blob. Because I wasn't lifting weights, I wasn't really doing anything. I was just there, And so when I hit over 200, I was like, I got to do something. I can't be freaking 200 pounds.
Yeah, because your body type is definitely not meant to be.
Oh no.
No.
I gotta, right now I'm like around 161, 160.
Yeah.
The 160 mark, and I feel like that is good. I feel like that's a good weight. I low key want to see how I would be, under 160, but I don't think my body can actually maintain that, especially if I want to build muscle. So
maybe fasting, but that's the point.
Yeah, but I feel like I always fluctuate between low 160. So
yeah.
I feel like being at around 160, especially with the muscle mass that I have and the muscle growth that I can obtain, like I feel like 160 is perfectly fine.
When people criticize you on the food you eat now, what's your response?
Why haven't you done this? Like, try it. Why haven't you tried this? Like you're like you tell me what to do. Like you're telling me what to do, right? But have you even done what I've done? Like, I've done what you've done. I've eaten the shit that you eat. But have you eaten the shit that I've eaten all the time? Like,
yeah, I've noticed
everyone's
that too.
eating a steak. Yeah, everyone's eating a steak. But have you eaten a steak with butter and avocado oil and a lot of salt and potassium? No.
They just have their steak with like sugary sweet potatoes from
of course,
various restaurants.
And that is why we are different, my friend. That is why those people and I are completely different.
Yeah, because you're someone who actually took the chance to change your life and did a different lifestyle that not many people do, or if anyone besides like me and our friend Joe, basically. Yeah. Like, not many people have that, that push to be able to make changes, the necessary changes that is very necessary to make.
Yeah.
So you've lost a lot of weight, and now you're with me, and now we're passing on the good message.
Yeah, I've probably accumulated the amount of weight I've lost cumulatively probably was way over 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Because every time I go on vacation, that's the only time I allow myself to cheat. I usually never let myself cheat any other time. Like, I don't want to. Like, I don't let myself have any of those things. If I do cheat, it's basically all sporadic, and it's only for that one meal, and then I usually fast for like the next 20 hours anyway.
Yeah, cheating is like getting burnt by fire, and then like it's gonna burn for a little bit, and it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, and so like when I go on vacation, that's the only time I really allow myself to, and where I'm like, you can do this. This is okay, because that once you come back and you're home, it's go time. There's no, it's back to work. Like, you ain't you ain't gonna stay like that forever. And so I let myself do that, knowing that like I get to work and I get to work hard, and I eat the right way, when I'm home, and I eat however, and do whatever. Even on vacation, I'll have eggs. I'll have a 6 egg omelet in the morning,
Yeah.
and like I still eat that way because that's just how I am now. That's just the way I am. There's nothing that can change that now, and so I still incorporate that, but I do let myself have those cheat days, or during vacation and stuff. But like I'm always can't wait to get back to home so I can get back to work. Pretty much.
Basically.
That's the mindset I still have.
So what keeps you motivated like every day to keep on this path? Like what keeps you like not like, oh, I'm gonna have pancakes today? Like what keeps you like on that disciplined path?
How do I want to say this? Okay, so
Why? How come you don't just cheat right now? Like,
because I like I love the things that I eat.
yeah. So
That's
it's
that's
become
a
a
big
lifestyle.
that's a big
for you,
thing.
Right?
I even when I did like even when I did eat French fries and all this other shit, and macaroni, whatever. When I did eat all that, I still ate all this stuff. I still ate chicken. I still ate steak. I still ate eggs, but I just wasn't eating it to the extent I am now. I loved that stuff, and now that I got rid of all the other stuff, then I just love this stuff more. So
Yeah.
like, no, there's really nothing that's gonna stop me other than me being on vacation and me being able to relax, and like step away from everything. That's when and like I was saying before, this is when I allow myself to eat whatever. But when I come home, I'm in the zone, I'm in the game, and this is what I love to do, and this is what I like. This is how I love to eat. And
Yeah.
so that's how I keep it.
Basically a
There's
lifestyle for you, and it becomes
it's
very
a complete
easy.
lifestyle, and there's nothing that's gonna ever change that. I believe that there's nothing that's gonna change me the way that I eat right now, unless if something I get struck by a car and I lose my taste in my mouth, and something tragic like that.
Yeah, so you basically just really enjoy this journey, and the
Yeah.
journey, of course, never ends.
Yeah,
but
no.
if you could try to maximize, your enjoyment of it, and balance the pleasure and pain dynamics,
Yeah.
it becomes a lot easier to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and like I love eating this way because it clear my mind, the way that I think, and the way that I feel is so much more positive now than it's ever been. And thinking about eating like that, especially eating home like that, I feel like it will not help me, and it actually makes me feel like shit, and I don't want to feel that way. I'm so tired of feeling that way. So like, I always want to stay on this because it makes me feel good. I'm so sick of not feeling good, not feeling positive anymore. You know what I mean? That's why I'm always so. That's why I'm always so about positivity now, because like I don't want to be negative anymore. I'm so sick of it. I'm so done with.
It just
being
brings you
negative.
down. It brings down the people around you.
Everyone- yeah.
If you feel like crap, then people around you will sense that vibe, and then it might affect them in a negative way as
Yeah.
well.
I'm done. I'm done. Bringing myself down and bringing everybody else down. Like I don't want to do that anymore. That's just not me. I want to be positive. I want to make everyone be positive, because without positivity, then we're just on a ball that's gonna eventually light out. Why
Basically.
can't we just have some fun before that?
What's your fitness goals now? Now that you've like accomplished some weight loss, you're gaining some muscle. What's like what's the plan?
The goal is, when the gym comes back, to regain everything I've lost. Let's just start with there. Let's just start there, because this has been very rough these last few months. I've done very little on a lot of the core muscles. I've only done what I can when I can. And so like I'll do push-ups here, I'll do sit-ups there, I do pull-ups wherever, I do dips wherever I can, but like I can't do a lot. I can't do enough that I want to get done. And so I need to make sure I regain my ground from before Corona, and then from there I'm going to move forward. But I don't know per se where I would want to excel more. I'm hoping that after, Corona and we get back to the gym that I can squat like 700 pounds because we've been running every day and it's been a pain in the ass. I'm hoping that I can squat and do leg press like 1,500 pounds because my legs are feeling super fucking hard. Like hopefully that's probably like the biggest goal I have is to leg press 1,500.
Yeah, so you want to gain some muscle and you want to make some you want to be able to lift more basically and improve your gains ratio.
Yeah, once I need to regain my gains, then I will get more gains.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in New Jersey that could relate to that right now.
Yes,
we are just screwed. And
yeah,
our gyms are like the last. The gyms are like the last thing, ironically, to open up.
Yeah,
barbershops are opening up as due to this recording, and a lot of places like opening up, but gyms are still closed, which is bogus.
Well, I think that's also because of the whole health thing, but everything's got to be sanitized. Like we're supposed to be sanitizing our equipment after we use it, but some people don't. So that's the whole thing that they're probably still trying to figure out for at least in New Jersey. And once they figure out a way that they're going to do that, then they will announce when it's going to open.
So what are your tips, like people who like want to go on a similar journey as you? Like, do you have anything that people should know?
Do not let yourself stay comfortable in how you are. Number one. Number two, if you feel like you can't do something, you need to slap yourself in the fucking face because you can do whatever the hell you can do. You say you can do. So if you don't think that you could only eat steak and eggs for the rest of your life, you can do that. You can. With vegetables. Please don't be like me. Have some vegetables. Most vegetables are good for you.
Unless you're doing like a carnivore diet, but you want to make sure you're getting all your nutrients
because I know
from different sources.
A lot of people actually don't get the nutrients. A lot of people don't know what they are, and so I say get the best vegetables. Do that, please. But I've always heard a lot of people be like, I can't do what you do. You do all these weird things. I don't know if I'd be able to do it. That's bullshit. You can fucking do it. Don't
try to get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah, get out of the comfort zone. Get out there, fucking figure a way to do it, and just run. Because if you don't run, then you'll just turn back, and that's not a way you want to go.
Exactly. Well, I hope a lot of people are like inspired by this story because you've made a huge jump from like fat to fit.
Super, yeah.
And you've changed your life for the better. Now you're on an amazing journey right now, and you formed All Gains Apparel, and you made your own clothing business, and now you want to like pass on the good message, which
that's what we're trying to do, and we're trying to get a lot more people like on an actual podcast like that, like to talk about specific topics, anything really.
So now the goal is to expand, and the goal is to like basically take what we've learned and pass it on.
Yeah, people need this knowledge. People need positivity as well, because I know in the future ahead does not look bright at all. So we need to make it bright. We need as many lights as possible, I feel, to brighten up this very grim future that I see coming. So
yeah, that is the journey that we will be on. So that is Mike, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you,
Apparel. And if you like this stuff, subscribe and tune into. You could find us on every single platform pretty much now.
Yes.
So
we pretty much are on every single platform. Definitely follow us on all of the platforms. It's usually just All Gains Apparel or All Gains Mindset on YouTube.
And join All Gains Facebook group, All Gains Mindset Facebook group, which is open to the public, so anyone can join.
It's open to the public. Also, follow the All Gains podcast. It's like on Spotify. It's on all like those podcast platforms. You can definitely find them there and definitely follow them there.
Yeah, guys. So get out of your comfort zones. Try something new. Improve your life. Spread the positive message, and be your own symbol.
Yes. Be good, everyone.
We'll see you next time.